takes about 3 years to develop a standard if everything goes well. It is a defined process by the ISO directives, which start off with an idea, which is submitted by a country, and thereafter, if approved, the various countries will discuss that and refine it into a document which later will go on various forms of ballots, where the different countries can submit comments and argue why the standard should look in a certain way. The process is both informal and formal. I would say that during the discussion we are quite open and we discuss in an informal way. However, at certain points when we have the ballots, it's a very strict formal process where there are various criteria that needs to be fulfilled in order to move the project ahead. In the end, it takes about 2/3 majority in order for a standard to be approved by ISO.
Anybody can participate in standardization, but you have to go through your national standards body and represent your country in order to participate. During the discussions, it's important to follow the rules. Standardization is heavily relying on what we call consensus, and that means that during the discussions we try to discuss until everybody around the table is happy, maybe not happy with everything, but with the overall view of what the project is, what kind of requirements, guidance that can be found in the document.
The biggest challenge, without a doubt, when we started this work was that we had numerous of national standards on this subject, and there was not a big will to compromise. When we had the discussions early on in Florence, the standardization process were more or less seen as a competition. All countries present their standards as this is the best standard, we would like this standard to become the ISO standard because it has the best contents, and it took quite a lot of efforts in order to get the countries to agree and well, understand that that is not the way we develop ISO standards. ISO standards builds on best practice, and that all countries are willing to compromise and come to these meetings and listen to the others. It's not about trying to win or so on. From a committee point of view, the work never stops. The next step here will be to finalize the guidance document to the 22301. 22301 includes various forms of requirements, but we say very little on how these requirements should be fulfilled. And that is one of the things that is the intention with the guidance document. The guidance document will be much longer. And of course, after that has been published, there are other discussions going on in the committee. We are developing many different projects here. But in this field, I think the next issue, we have already discussed it for the last couple of years. That is the question on organizational resilience, and which is a new field which looked at the problem a little bit different. We have debated the various differences between business continuity management and organizational resilience, but I don't think that we have the answer yet. The discussions will continue. It will also be interesting to see what will happen with the 22301. One of the problems during development has been all of the national standards. It will be interesting to see whether or not these countries with national standard, if they will replace their existing standard with the ISO 22301. Also interesting will be to see how the market adopts it. Of course, we have had already a lot of interest in 2301, but when it comes to certification and how the various organizations will use it, it's a question which remains to be answered.